I know Bass, you said he was a good kicker and he's still pretty decent, but if you're a Bills fan, you do not want to rely on your kicker at all. History
Painful
shows
memories.
yes,
Painful.
there will be a blood sacrifice in Buffalo if they pull out a kicker to win a game.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Beardzone Sports Talk. My name is David. I got Scooter and Carlos with me tonight. And fellas, we are down to the Final Four. Championship Sunday is right around the corner, and only two teams are going to make it. So, some surprises last week. Carlos, shout out to you. You called the Washington Commanders upset over the Detroit Lions. Everyone thought that you were crazy. But yeah, you proved everyone wrong. So I'm looking forward to see who your upset is going to be this week if you have one. But before we get into Championship Sunday and what we are going to be looking for in these matchups, do us a favor, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, because that is the best way to continue to support us as we grow this NFL season. Fellas, I want to start with that game. Well, the Washington freaking Commanders, led by rookie Jaden Daniels, went into Detroit and did his thing, dude. Absolutely played well. And the defense even stepped up. I mean, it was kind of a shootout, but the defense got some big turnovers, which ultimately was the game, right? I mean, they won the turnover battle, but Carlos, man, you predicted this.
You know, when I was looking at it, it just you can't have that many injuries on one side of the ball, and at some point it doesn't catch. It's going to catch up to you. It's got the laws of averages eventually even out, and they just had so many. And the people that are out are the people that they needed to contain, like a Daniels, and they kept McLaurin in check for the most part.
Well,
so they just needed those guys, and it just at some point, Goff has played amazing throughout this year, but you're always due for a bad game. This was his bad game, and Washington had tons of momentum, man, on their side, and you have a rookie quarterback that he doesn't know he's a rookie. Like he's just like he's been here for years. So, it's just unfortunate. And I'm was rooting for the Lions, to make a push because how can you not like Dan Campbell? So,
yeah,
true.
I mean, I was heartbroken.
Oh, for sure. I'm sure you were crying, sipping your IPA at home or something.
Yeah.
Or is it Busch Light? I don't know. I'm ragging on Dave, but Dan Campbell is a fantastic coach. I think Detroit definitely has a long future with him. Yeah, you hit on the nail on the head there, Carlos. There is a serious injury bug with Detroit's defense. I think they were short. They were playing like third and fourth string dudes with like Terry and Arnold getting injured in the game. Then you had Deion Branch with some surprise he playing in there, and they still hung in for a decent portion of it. But 3 turnovers from Jared Goff as a whole, a fumble, 2 interceptions, that does not help. If you're playing lights out the entire season, your one time you mess up is the going into the NFC Championship game. Come on, man. Like, I know Detroit is upset, but you really can't be. You played stellar with broken secondary, broken linebackers, broken D-line, and you're finding ways to win games. Now, they should have stuck to their run game because Jahmyr Gibbs was a force, man. And then Montgomery was still running dudes over. I don't know why they started resorting to deep ball passes and everything else. And the reverse for a touchdown with, Williams, great play call. I'm pretty sure Ben Johnson's gone. So there's that.
So is Glenn.
Glenn, he's gone too.
Glenn just left.
Gone too.
So I think Detroit, you kind of just got outplayed. It wasn't out schemed. You just got outplayed. You turned the ball over too many times, and like you said, Jaden Daniels has no clue he's an actual rookie. He's just playing like he's playing backyard football and enjoying life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The scariest teams sometimes are the teams that don't realize where they're at and that they shouldn't be there. So, and that's the Washington Commanders right now. But they're going on the road to face a very tough road or tough team here with the Philadelphia Eagles. They're divisional rivals. They've played them. I think this is going to be like their third time playing them within a span of like 30 something game or 30 or 40 something days. Like they've been all very close these games. So, but the Eagles, I mean, they had, I mean, Saquon was Saquon in the game against the Rams, but they're at the end, man. Matthew Stafford almost looked like that he was able to, lead the comeback, but the Philadelphia Eagles defense, that number one defense, just ended up being a little bit too much, and now they face a very explosive, young, very talented offense. So this should be a really fun matchup. Do you feel like it's going to be more one-sided, or are we in for a good game here?
No, I think it's going to be a good game.
It should be.
I was very disappointed with the Rams, man. They should have just went no huddle from the beginning.
Yeah.
Man, that comeback, God, I was rooting for them so much. But I think it's a good game. I mean, weather's supposed to be good for Philly standards. It's going to be cold, but they're not really projecting any snow. So I mean, but they're two cold weather teams. So I think Washington does their thing. I mean, they're at that point again. They got nothing to lose. If they lose the game, hey, you had an awesome season with a rookie quarterback. The sky's the limits for you guys. Your
first-year coach.
Yeah, you're one player away. Does Kingsbury leave? Don't know. But if he stays, that's a big plus for them. But they're a receiver away and maybe another defensive guy to being like, damn, this is a really good football team. Assuming he doesn't have a sophomore slump, but you got nothing to lose. Like you're expected to lose. They're going to be the underdog, and if they lose, you had a great season. So I just see them coming out and just be like, screw it, let's just go and play. And AJ Brown or Jalen Hurts has all the pressure in the world on him, and that Eagles team has a ton of pressure on them to win. Like they got the home field advantage. You got AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, the number one defense. Like Saquon, you bring in Saquon Barkley. Every amount of pressure is on that team right now, and the city of Philly. If they lose to the Commanders, holy crap!
It may not be a city. It may not be.
I mean,
burning it down like it's LA.
Yeah, and Hurts hasn't looked that good. If you're going back looking at his stats and everything, they're still not throwing the ball very well. Saquon's bailing them out. But
I mean, it helps when you have like 60-yard runs twice a game.
Yeah, I mean, he just breaks them off like it's nothing. He looks amazing, man. The burst, the speed. The guy looks fantastic. And granted, he's behind that line, and when he's breaking these runs, but he's still running away from everybody like it's nothing. I probably lean more to Philly than this one, but the Commanders are going to give them all they can handle. I mean, the Commanders won the last one, right? Didn't they win like at the end?
Yeah, but it was also
like a give me game
because Jalen Hurts got hurt. I think that was the concussion game with Jalen Hurts. So Kenny Pickett came out and I think Commanders only won by like a score or so. So I mean, it wasn't anything crazy, but Commanders have been on this upswing momentum. They have all the momentum right now in their favor. I mean, to go on the road in Tampa, which, let's be honest, is not really a true road game. I mean, I think half of Washington was there at Ray J that night. But then to go and to play in Detroit, man, and to win in the fashion that they did not look like at all fazed by it at all. Their communication was well. There was not a moment in the game where it was like, "Ooh, Detroit, here comes Detroit." It was the entire game like, "Holy crap, the Commanders about to do this," and sure enough, they ended up doing it. So, hats off to the Commanders. They have one more big obstacle to make it to the promised land. Can Jaden Daniels be the first rookie quarterback to win the championship game, you know what? If my money was on any of the quarterbacks on that list, it would honestly be this guy. This guy is playing lights out right now. So should be a good matchup. But let's go to the game, to the AFC Championship game, where a lot of eyes are going to be, because this is the battle. This is the juggernauts going at it, the heavyweights going at it. This is Josh Allen and the hungry Buffalo Bills going up against Goliath with the Kansas City Chiefs.
And the refs.
I knew it. I knew that was coming. But in Arrowhead, Swifty's going to be there. The Chiefs Kingdom is going to be there. They're going to be loud. Josh Allen, although he's good with Mahomes in the regular season, he's not the greatest against him in the postseason. So can the Buffalo Bills finally get over the hump this Sunday in Kansas City?
Yes. And I'm just going to say yes. I'm just kidding. No, there's a lot of things riding here
about that.
Yeah. No, Josh Allen's playing good football. The defense is playing good football. The way that they shut down the Ravens, I think, kind of proves that they can do both facets there. I think they need to understand it's still Mahomes and Kelsey and Pacheco, and you just got Hollywood Brown back. You got Hopkins. It's not the same team that they played in the season. Now, you're also playing in Arrowhead, and you got something to prove. You've lost to them 4 times or 3 times. I've lost count. They've never won in the playoffs against the Chiefs. They've done shootouts. They've gotten close games. You know, at the end of the day, though, the Bills have to play a complete game and not rely on giving Mahomes any sort of chance, giving Andy Reid any sort of chance. Because here's the deal. You're not, and I don't care what anyone else says in the playoffs. Every Super Bowl run the effing Chiefs have, they've had the number one beneficiary in penalties. I don't want go look at the stats. You're smoking something, you're drinking something bad if you think I'm wrong. Go look at the stats. In 2019, you had 20 beneficiary calls. Guess what? You were number one in the playoffs for that. In 2022, again, 20. Okay? In 2023, guess what? You had 27 penalties in your beneficiary category, and the next team below was Baltimore, 14. You cannot tell me you're not benefiting from the freaking refs. At least in the playoffs. Regular season, yeah, you're in the middle ground. Whatever. Suck it. It's fine. But at the same token, Tom Brady played for 20 years. From 2009 to today, he only has 4 more roughing the passer calls than Patrick Mahomes, and he's played double the amount of time.
He did play with deflated balls.
Yeah, so whatever.
That was the difference.
The same token, you cannot tell me the Chiefs have not benefited from penalties. Okay, regular season, got it. It's all timing. In the playoffs, you have a surefire stat that says you are the number one beneficiary for penalties. So if the Bills are going to win, they absolutely have to play a completely clean game and cannot give the ball to the Chiefs. I don't care. Cry about it in the comments. I got more salt for you to lick up. Don't worry about it.
Well, the thing about the Chiefs.
Why don't we have voice on this one?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I'll send him the stats. I don't care. I'll send it to my one of my coworkers, Goddard. It's fine. I don't care.
Yeah. But the thing about it is, if you look back at that game, the divisional game between the Houston Texans and the Kansas City Chiefs, there were some play calls that happened there that I was like, "What are we doing for the Texans? Like, why are we going?" If you hit
your own teammate in the head, it's obviously against the Chiefs, or it's for the Chiefs.
Okay,
don't worry about
it. But on top of that, let's move aside from the penalties, because at the end of the day, Carlos, you're in sales, and I'm always going to go back to this because you said it to me once when we worked together, and it's a true statement. When you're the king, when you are the top guy, there's going to be some stuff that you get away with. That's just how it is. And right now, the Chiefs are the top. They're going to get away with stuff. They're going to get the beneficiary. Is it right? No, but that's how the world works. Sorry about your luck. I don't like it either. I don't want to see the Chiefs win. I know that we're in for a Chiefs-Eagles Super Bowl, and I am dead inside. And if it wasn't for this podcast, I probably wouldn't even watch that game.
Here's the thing, which I find funny. We're talking about preferential treatment. You guys were a part of preferential treatment when Brady was with the Bucks. So you're right. You're right. You're 100% right. He is the face of the NFL. Him and Andy Reid are on tons of commercials, and you got to protect the asset. And he is the face of pro football, and they're going to protect him. I mean, I know Josh Allen does his chunky commercial, but I mean, that's fantastic.
That's it.
And he eats boiled chicken, but Mahomes he's the guy. They're gonna protect Mahomes. Wasn't Brady the one where they started the low hit because he got hit low and then he tore the ACL?
Yeah,
that's where it all started. So he's the guy, and whether we like it or not, they're gonna protect him. And the revenue went way high when Taylor Swift showed up at these games, and Dayton Kelsey, like they're gonna make sure that the Chiefs are in prime time every week. Like, it's just, unfortunately, there's a lot of money.
Here's something to kind of chew on. Over this divisional weekend, right? These past games, what was the biggest turning point in all of those games? Turnovers. Whoever won the turnover battle won the game. And it's true throughout the playoffs. Defense wins championships. If you win the turnover battle, you're going to probably make it to the dance. 280 turnovers, okay? 280 turnovers in the NFL since week 12. How many have the Kansas City committed? 0. None. They have not turned the ball over since week 12 this year. This team protects the ball regardless of, and the refs protect them. So there you go, Scooter. I'm giving the double-edged sword here.
The ref protects their balls. I mean,
the ref. Oh, damn! I messed that up. But the thing, but I say that because, Scooter, you said they have to play a clean game. That's the name of the game when you're playing against this Kansas City Chiefs, because you know that the calls are not going to go in your favor. You know that it's going to be a close game. You know that there are going to be moments in that game where it gets tilted towards the Chiefs, especially in Kansas City. You're going to have to play a clean game. Josh Allen is going to definitely have to have the game of his career. So it should be interesting. And for the love of everything, Bills fans, I absolutely love you because you have donated $60,000 to Mark Andrews' charity as a thank you to him to dropping that ball. And it's kind of like
that was like a give-me catch, too.
Gosh, man, like, compliment. Such a good, good on you, Buffalo Bills fans, but I know the reason why you guys are donating. It's a big old thank you to Mark Andrews for dropping that ball, but
I feel bad.
He catches it 9 out of 10 times, though.
Yeah, even if he catches it, there's still a high percentage that they move down the field. Tyler Bass is kicking the ball very well right now, and they probably kick a field goal to win it. So I hate that, but I would have loved to see that. Scooter, you being a Bills fan, in past years, and for me, it's a little bit me being, I proudly say a Buffalo Bill hater. I like to say I'm like vice president of the fan club, but I see a little bit something different in this team that I haven't seen. And it's kind of like not to go back in time with the Rocky Balboa, but kind of the eye of the tiger. They're playing with a little more physicality than I remember in the past. And last week when they needed to run the ball, they ran it. Like, they're just like, I see it in McDermott. Like, I just see like something different in this team than I have in the past.
I don't think you're wrong. The eye of the tiger is kind of an ironic thing to throw around there. Being old, the last time they've seen the Super Bowl was I was a child and probably still diapers. No, I'm just kidding. I was definitely not.
I was there.
Yeah, no, it was a little bit of gray. I got some gray. I don't know if the 1080p or whatever shows it, but the Bills are definitely different than the past years, right? Offensively, they have more assets to give the ball to in the wide receiver core. You no longer have Josh Allen and James Cook. You now have Davis back there, and he is a force. He can catch the ball too. I don't know what his caliber is yet. It's kind of hard to tell, but he is pretty legit in the backfield to give that, third running back more or less. And Josh Allen is a force himself. The one thing what I kind of got dicey with him is the second half of the season where he started turning the ball over and throwing interceptions, and he starts being, riskier with his throws. But what we're seeing in the playoffs right now with him is he's being calculated. And McDermott, I think, is getting in his head and saying, hey, you don't have to force it. We're moving the ball. On the defensive side, they got Milano back. They got everyone else in the secondary back. So by all means, I think they're very equal to the Chiefs at the moment. Now, a lot's going to change in how they kick off the game and how they get their first drive is going to set momentum, right? And how you start the second half. I know Bass, you said he was a good kicker and he's still pretty decent, but if you're a Bills fan, you do not want to rely on your kicker at all. History shows
memories.
Yes, there will be a blood sacrifice in Buffalo if they pull out a kicker to win a game. And I don't know what they're going to sacrifice because it's Buffalo, but it is what it is. And I think there's a big difference in shift in how you see the teams are reacting, right? Dave said it with Kansas City. They haven't turned the ball over since week 12. And the Bills have kind of owned their craft since getting into the playoffs, right? Since they understood that they were going to be the second seed. They showed it with Baltimore. What you're going to have to stop with Kansas City, though, is that D-line. It's not just Chris Jones, it's Karl Loftus as well. You got Bolton, I think, still back there in the linebacking core, and Sneed, or not Sneed, but was it Reed and McDuffie? Man, they're pretty locked down. So can Coleman get the size advantage? Can Shakir get that speed route drag or something like that? I don't know if Amari Cooper's still healthy or not. I feel like he's a 50-50 every week now. And I don't know if it's age or finally catching up with him. And it's not going to be that cold, man. Like, it's not going to be negative 26 like it was a few days ago here in Iowa. And Kansas City's not too far south. Like, it's not going to be a big deal. Weather to Buffalo is nothing. I would love to see the Bills win.
Gonna be good.
What's that? Oh, yeah, it's going to be fun.
Weather's going to be good.
Like, it was 31 degrees outside. I was walking my dogs, and I was in a T-shirt and sweatpants.
I don't even think Amari Cooper's a factor. He had one target last week.
Yeah.
So I don't think he's really in their game plan anymore. I think it was just a waste. It sounded good and it looked good, but just ain't good. But
you still got Dawson Knox and you got Kincaid still. So it's the dual threat there. It's kind of like Knox is not consistent enough, but Kincaid's kind of showing some Kelseyism there, so there may be some matchup. Every single time Andy Reid comes out and just kind of outcoaches the Bills, and it's very frustrating.
Yeah.
What is this loss?
Nature of the beast.
If they lose, because I feel Josh Allen needs this win.
Yeah.
But if they lose again, do you guys think it stirs up questions in Buffalo? Like, shoot, man, we got to do. What we're doing is getting us there, but it's not better than the Chiefs because they're not going away. They've still got a long stretch run of being the king of the AFC.
Well, Sean McDermott was kind of a talking point last offseason with are they going to keep him? Are they going to move on from him? And then they ended up keeping him. And I think it's coming down to who's available. Sean McDermott has won with Buffalo. He's built a culture there. The players have bought into the system. You have your franchise quarterback in his prime right now. I think that you're a few offensive pieces away from really being a big threat, right? So do you take that risk? Do you take that risk and go, okay, we're going to go ahead and bring a new guy in, try and create a new culture, new schemes and, new coaching staff and everything? Or do you just stick with the guy who's been getting you almost there? But it's just, I mean, what are you going to do? I mean, it's just the Chiefs. It's like the Patriots, back in the, the 2000s, the early 2000s to the 2010. It's like, what are you going to do? That's just how it is.
No, it's not just how it is. You keep McDermott, you keep what you have in place, and you draft to complement your team. And here's why. You look across Lake Erie and you stare at Cleveland and their crappy ownership, and you look at Deshaun Watson's lack of performance and $200 million of waste. That's what you do. And you invest in your team for what you have. You clearly have talent to get to this point. Getting past the championship game is a huge threshold. Just look at the Eagles, look at the Bucks, look at the Chiefs. It's not an easy road unless you have the refs' help. Thank you, Chiefs. And then you have the Bills, who've been to 4 Super Bowls in a row, so they know hardship. They know how to burn through good assets and then keep them. It's not about Buffalo's never been about win now. They've always been a long burn city, and they will grind things out, man. It's like Detroit. They will ride or die. Unlike the Bucks fan base, because we're very 50-50, and I'm sure there's plenty of dudes that listen to us that listen to the Bucks or watch the Bucks, and they're like, oh, blah, 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 blah. I'm still going to say it, fire Todd Bowles. But at the same token,
Liam Cohen's back.
I know. That's why I said fire Todd Bowles. So I will die on that sword. I don't care. But the Bills fan base and the ownership understand investing in what you have. And I think the culture, which you guys were saying, is a very key point in that. It's hard to get, and that's what Andy Reid has owned it. He went from Philly, then he went to Kansas City, and he just owned his culture of a not only his coaching tree, but his teams. He's always had good guys in the right positions because he knows not only how to read players and his coaching staff, but to get them to be their best. And I think Sean McDermott has done that with Buffalo. I think John Harbaugh has done that with the Ravens. And I don't know how Sirianni's done it with Philly because they seem to want to execute the guy every single time he loses a game. But he figured something out. And then Dan Quinn, as a Bucks fan and watching him wreck us as a Falcons head coach, if Dan Quinn goes to the Super Bowl, and it's clearly a cultural thing, because if you see,
and then he loses 28-3.
Oh my gosh! That would be hilarious.
I'll say that. I'll say this really quick, Buffalo fans. Here's your ticket, because take it from the Detroit Lion fan, the man who cursed the Detroit Lions this year. Stop getting tattoos of Super Bowl championships until after your team wins. We all saw it go around. We saw the tattoo of the Detroit Lions, Super Bowl, 58 now? Or Super Bowl 59, one of the two. And they're the champions. Well, guess what? You got embarrassed in Detroit against the Washington Commanders and a rookie quarterback. Buffalo, take notes. Don't tattoo yourself.
Do it
until it happens. No,
that guy.
Don't do it.
That guy should have Jaden Daniels' face tattooed over that.
Oh my God!
Can I get a cover up?
just a Washington logo. It's like
I was thinking about this game because this is really the kind of the game of the week. I think the Eagles and Commanders game. The one thing that I knew couldn't happen this week that would give the Chiefs something to like that spark that they needed, it happened. They are the underdog at home. That does not bode well for the Buffalo Bills. I can promise you that was a huge mistake to be made.
Who set that line?
They're a 2-point underdog right now.
The NFL script writers in the WWE, that also helps them in this scenario.
I'm just saying it's going to give. At first, I had the Bills, and then the line came out. They're 56% chance to win. They're a +2 favorite, and that's all I needed to see. I'm putting 500 on the Chiefs. It's done deal. That's the worst thing that could happen to the Buffalo Bills.
Boy.
I quit.
I mean,
they
the Super
jinxed
Bowl
it.
logo. The Super Bowl logo is red and green, so it's going to be the Chiefs and the Eagles. It's
The
been
Bills
like
have
that,
red, white,
you
and
know?
blue, though.
I think it's going to be a fantastic game. I'm insanely excited about it to see these two go head to head. Mahomes, Allen, like, it's just so much good here that it's going to be an awesome game. Hopefully nobody gets hurt, Josh Allen. But I think it's going to be a great game. But man, you talk about giving that fuel that a team needs. Michael Jordan, you used to say he would make up stuff. He would, to fuel him, because he just knew he was better than everybody. But he had to find something. And Jesus, man, did the line, ESPN, everybody go, here, Chiefs, here's your motivation. You're the underdog at home. You're 15-2 regular season, and the only reason you're not 16-1 is because you benched the whole team in week 17. Oh boy!
And they're going for the 3-peat. So it's an uphill climb, man. It's an uphill climb. We knew it at the moment that the Chiefs won last year. We knew that they were going to be back in this spot this year. I mean, we just know this is how it's going to be. And as NFL fans, we have to understand that this is the new era. Patrick Mahomes is king. And we just have to, unfortunately face that. Hey, Tom Brady, though, didn't win every Super Bowl every year. Patrick Mahomes won't do it. So, there's still hope, right? There's still a little bit of hope. But let us know down there in the comments.
I think the Bills have a great chance. I mean,
I do too. I think that they're playing really well.
Back. They might. They really might, but Goodell is like best friends with Vince McMahon, so who knows who writes this script? I don't know.
Okay. Before we leave, final prediction. Carlos, Super Bowl. Who do we got?
I think it's going to be the Chiefs and the Eagles. And, yeah.
Okay. Scooter?
I got Bills in Washington, with Bills winning the whole thing.
What fan base do I mess up this time with my picks?
Because my original picks for the Super Bowl were all wrong.
Because I've missed it the entire year, right?
David had the Jets 17-0. They were going to play the Chiefs.
Or 15-2 or whatever it was.
Yeah. I literally take what the Chiefs did, and that's what I had the Jets doing. Yeah. But I learned, by like week 10, I faded the Jets every single week in our pickup. So I did learn. I did learn. I think a lot of people, right, are hoping for the Bills Commanders just because it's kind of newer teams that haven't gotten there in a long time. Obviously, the story with Jay Daniels and then the story with Josh Allen. But, I texted the group, and I just said I have this just nasty feeling that it's going to be the Chiefs and Eagles. So that's going to be my pick for the Super Bowl. I don't know who's winning it all. Give it to the Eagles. Their defense is strong enough. God, that made me sick to my stomach.
I can't even believe you said that.
He threw up in his mouth. He did.
He did.
Yeah. So, but let us know down there in the comment section your predictions. Give us a follow on all of our social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and X. We're here all NFL season and through the off season. So be sure to click that subscribe button to follow along. Share this with all of your family and friends to continue to help us grow and get out there in that YouTube algorithm. We definitely appreciate all the love that we've been seeing. But until next Friday.
Beardzone out.